What's going on? I just wanted to make this video about this whole thing going on with the stock market and GameStop. I haven't been moving in fear. So I'm just looking at things, trying to be, objective. The thing about it is that I got a lot of conspiracies that goes around in my head when I start hearing the things that are going on. The reason why I think Robinhood stopped GameStop from being traded on their platform is because of an article that I read on Reddit. I had these questions in my head about how can one of these companies short sell over 140% of the stock? That means that you're short selling more than what's out there. And in my head, I said, it won't add up. If everybody bought all the stocks up, if everybody buys everything, then they can't buy it back unless it's at the price that the people who own the stock demands it to be. Kind of strange. Still, there'll be 40% of it left over if they sold 140% of it. In my mind, the math doesn't add up. You can't buy or sell 140% of something. It has to be 100% of stocks issued. And what really surprised me was that I woke up this morning and I read this article on Reddit about counterfeit stocks. Who in the world, who in our country really monitors how stocks are distributed, created, and sold? Are there counterfeit stocks out there? And it really got me to thinking. I read the article and I was like, wow, that's probably what it is. It's probably, I'm not a financial advisor. I got in on it, though, in a small position, not on GameStop, but on another stock. I got in. I'm in and I'm holding because I want to see what happens. But not if I lose it all, I'll lose it all. The thing about shorting stocks is an unlimited loss. You can have an unlimited loss. If the stock goes up to $1 million, you owe $1 million on one stock. That's incredible. Okay? So there's a problem with the whole system. But, I also got a couple of conspiracy theories. I want to know who's the owner of Melvin, those Melvin hedge funds. I want to know because Melvin, that don't sound like a white name to me. And if you're trying to play the game the way white people play, usually it doesn't work out so well. But I'm going to read this article that I got off of the Wall Street Bets subreddit. So it said the real reason why Wall Street is terrified of the GameStop situation. It's written by Johnny Daggers. You don't know who these people are. They have no identities on Reddit, so you don't know. They just talking, and if you listen, hey, you listen. If you don't, you don't. You're responsible for yourself. So do your own due diligence. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know. I'll just roll the dice. Let's see. Let's play a game. Let's see what happens. Maybe I make money, maybe I don't. Hopefully everybody can make some money off of this. Hopefully the stock market will be exposed. Hopefully the fat cats lose. But I don't think so because the fat cats make it so that they can't lose. That's why Robinhood just, and that's why I think Robinhood also stopped the trading. You can't buy them. Because if you keep buying GameStop, the stock keeps going up. But anyway, what this article says, I've been following GameStop since mid-September, and over that time, I have banked myself a 1,300% return in the process. However, the whole time I was a little puzzled with how severe the reactions were. The reactions from Wall Street have been, especially this week. The company had more than 100% of its stock sold short. That's never happened before, you say. I know, but that's not actually a new thing. And he links to an article where it happened before. A short squeeze, let me catch my place. Even one of this magnitude should have squoze by now, with GameStop up more than 10 times in a span of weeks. Something is just not right. I think there is something much bigger going on here, something big enough to blow up the entire financial system. Here's my hypothesis. I think the hedge funds, clearinghouses, and DTC executed coordinated effort to put GameStop out of business, conspiring to create a gargantuan number of counterfeit shares of GameStop, possibly 100 to 200% or more of the shares originally issued by GameStop. GameStop stock. Say that like 3 times fast. You can't do it. In the process, they may have accidentally created a bomb that can blow up the entire system as we know it. It's crazy. And we're seeing the efforts to cover this up unfold now. What is this bomb? I believe retail investors may hold more than 100% of GameStop. Not just 100% of the float, more than 100% of the actual company. This would be definitive proof of illegal activity at the highest level of the financial system. For if you follow this argument, you need to go to the white papers, Counterfeiting Stocks 2.0. Is where he links to this article of Counterfeiting Stocks. So you understand how the hedge funds can create fake stocks out of thin air and disguise it so it looks like real. Let me see. I lost my place. I'm reading. Disguise it so it looks like real shares. They use these fake shares in short attacks to drive the price of a company down until they put them into bankruptcy. This practice seems to be widespread among hedge funds that go short. There is even a term for it: strategic fails to deliver. Counterfeiting shares is extremely illegal, similar to counterfeiting money. But it is very difficult to prove, and even getting the court to approve subpoenas because of the way the financial industry has stacked the decks against investigations. This completely explains why so many levels of the financial system seems to be actively trying to get in the way of retail investors purchasing one more GameStop stock. It's not just about a short squeeze. It's about their firm's very existence and their own personal freedom. Somebody has to go to jail. They was counterfeiting stocks. I believe it. We have the opportunity to put all these people in jail by proving that we own more than 100% of shares in existence. There are 71 million shares of GameStop that have ever been issued by the company. 71 million should be out. Institutions have reported to the SEC via 13F filings that they own more than 102 million shares, including the 13% of GameStop stock is owned by Ryan Cohen. Now, I don't know the delay or variance on his ownership numbers, but I think there is a pretty solid argument that close to 100% of GameStop is owned by these firms, if not more. Moreover, there are now more than 7 million people subscribed to Wall Street Bets. I know lots of people here are sitting on a few hundred shares that they bought back when it was under $50. Some of us are even holding thousands. If the average number of shares owned by each subscriber is even close to 5 to 10, we have a very good shot at also owning a similarly enormous amount of GameStop. Even if the average was just 10 shares per legit subscriber, that puts a minimum retail position at about 30 to 50% of the entire company. GameStop has been on the New York Stock Exchange threshold list for almost a month. We don't have January data yet, but I just analyzed the data from the SEC fails to deliver list for December. All 65,000 lines of it. And I looked up the number of shares that were likely counterfeit. For comparison, I did the same for a couple of random tickers. Most companies have close to no shares not show up. Of those that do, it's a relatively small number of shares. For example, two random companies, Lowe's, 12.5 billion market cap, had 13,960 shares failed to be delivered at its highest point that month. Boston Beer Company, 11.5 billion market cap, had 295 shares failed to be delivered. So they have a list of the numbers that don't add up when it's failed to deliver, because these failed to delivers are usually counterfeit ones. And you can't really figure out which counterfeit if everything is digital. How many shares of GameStop has failed to deliver? 1,787,191. Okay, this is probably why the guys on TV are saying, "Oh, the retail investors are going to be crying." Why? Because they're gonna sham them out of 1 million shares that they bought legitimately. As the white papers point out, the true number of counterfeit shares can be 20 times this number. How bad do you think that number will be when we get the numbers for January? I'm willing to bet that many, let me see, 20 times this number. How bad do you think that number will be when we get the numbers for January? I'm willing to bet it's as many times that. Look at how that compares to other company stocks. And he has a chart. Can't see it. You can't see it. But there's a chart here. Let's go back. Histogram showing number of shares that weren't delivered in December versus number of companies that fails to that bin. GME is an extreme outlier. I think this explains all the shenanigans going on in the last few days. There is way too much counterfeit stock of GameStop out, and the DTC clearinghouses and the hedge funds are all in on it. That's why there has been such a coordinated effort to disrupt our ability to buy shares. No real shares can be found, and it's about to cause the system to fall apart. That's wild. If no shares can be found, then the people who should be taking a fall are the people who short sold. But I think they're gonna try to make the retail investors, the average man and woman who's invested, hold the bag. But the government has to step in on that. And so does the GameStop. GameStop is going to have to issue out stocks to those people who purchase stocks. And the people who should take losses are the hedge funds. But we've seen this type of thing happen before, and nobody went to jail. Somebody has to go to jail for counterfeiting. It's a counterfeiting and fraud that's going on. And everybody's like, oh, so long as these people hold, so long as the Wall Street bets, and they're saying they're holding, they're going to hold, they're going to try to drive the price up so that the short sellers can buy back. Now, if the short sellers don't want to expose the fact that they're counterfeiting stocks, they have to pay. They're going to have to pay. Because if they expose the fact that they're counterfeiting stocks, then next thing you know, the government has to step in and create regulations, and they can't do it anymore. I have a couple of conspiracy theories that are in my head that this may be the catalyst that can actually topple down the whole financial system. And when they topple down the whole financial system, they actually get what they want. And when I say they, I mean the New World Order. We've been talking about these things. I usually don't talk about these things in public anymore because they've been shutting people down for talking. But there are websites from Canada and different websites, and the governments are saying that they want to have a great reset. Isn't it a coincidence? GameStop, video games, reset button. You had the great reset, right? They resetting it. They're going to try to reset it? Who knows? I hope everybody just don't take my advice. Do whatever you want to do. I hope the little man gets money out of this deal. I bought a couple of shares of some stocks, but I'm not in GameStop. I don't want to be in it. I've owned shares of Ford for a long time. I believe in Ford. I believe in Ford. I believe in GM. I just don't own any GM stock. I believe in American companies. I don't think that these guys should be able to short sell and destroy American companies like this. They're doing it for that purpose. Now, GameStop has employees. They have, people with their families who we're coming through a pandemic. Why would you, this is what you're trying to do? You're trying to destroy this company so these people be out of work? That's horrible. All their financials. The financials, what I've learned is that the financials of a company has nothing to do with the technicals of the stock market, of how they make money off of these stocks. So AMC, right? They shorted AMC, and it's big shorts. I love AMC. I like to go to the movies. Who doesn't like to go to the movies to be entertained? Who didn't like The Walking Dead? A lot of people love The Walking Dead. That's AMC, right? They make movies, American movie classics. AMC. Why would you try to destroy them? Right? So you can make money, right? They employ thousands and thousands of Americans. People that are working, and now they can't work. They can't work in the theaters. These kids that have jobs at the theaters, now they can't work, right? So why not buy their stock? Buy it so that you help them out, right? I'm going to try to get me some stocks on AMC. I believe in AMC. I believe it is not about the fundamentals, okay? You don't talk about the fundamentals. I believe in that company. So why not support it? Right? So the people on CNBC and NBC, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know. They talk down to the retail people who are purchasing stocks, right? But in the end, aren't the retail people who go to professionals, they say, we want you to take this money and invest it for us, right? So they working for retail investors. They need to stop talking down to the customer. You know what I'm saying? Because we end up being a customer. But I believe, like I said, in these companies, so give it a shot. If you want to, if you believe in a company, go ahead. I don't, thinking, making a short sale is kind of like a scavenger. It's like, yeah, I think this company is gonna die, so I'm gonna profit off of their death. That's not cool. And a lot of these companies, I've looked at all of their paperwork and everything. You got to have a good business plan in order to get on the stock market in the first place. You got to have a really, really good plan. So, their financials are no good. They're not going to make any money. They're not going to make any money because you're pushing it down. Because these people, they get on TV and they sell fear. They sell doom and gloom. Oh, they're gonna lose money. But in the meantime, they're making money off of them losing money. So you can't trust what they say, right? Don't trust these people, what they say. Do your own diligence. Just do your own due diligence and take a chance and see what happens in your own life. Don't let them do this to us. We're better than that. Hold the line. Just my 2 cents. Just my 2 cents on this whole GameStop debacle. And hopefully, like I said, I hope the people who are buying the stocks and holding the stocks drive the price up, and I hope the people win. I hope the hedge funds lose, and I hope that people do their due diligence, and if anybody's holding too much, you know what I'm saying, that'll hurt them and harm them, don't hold so much. You know, invest in something that you can lose, that you can afford to lose. If you can afford to lose something, invest a little bit. Don't bet the farm, you know? And they like to tell us that Wall Street it's not gambling. Wall Street is not gambling. But then they say these are bets. We hedge funds. We hedge our bets. Full of shit. Like, share, and subscribe.